How's it going, everybody? So, I'm going to be doing another album thoughts video here today. Today, I'm going to be checking out the new album from Moonlight Haze. This one's called Animus. And, before I get into that nitty gritty, I like to check out the cover art. So, boom, there it is. Check it out. It's just really, 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 really nice cover art. I really like it. You got the moon there and kind of a glow around it, and this woman here blindfolded, and it looks like she's holding like a tree, almost like a tree of life, and it's just full of light, and there's just leaves of light kind of floating around, and it just looks really nice. You kind of see the night sky up there at the top in the background, and just this land behind, but it's all kind of being lit up. It's very nice. I really, really like it. You look at this and you look at the name, and you get a sense you're going to be getting some kind of symphonic metal here, or maybe kind of like a folk fantasy, kind of rock or music, something along those lines. But it's very indicative, I think, of what you're going to get here. So I really, really like it, both the design and the colors, and the visual appeal, and also the fact that it gives a good impression of what to expect on the album. So really dig it. A plus on the album art there. So anywho, now let's talk about the album itself. It's got 11 songs on this bad boy. Comes in around 42 minutes. So really great length for an album, and 11 songs is good. That means all of these songs relatively in the 4 minute or less mark. So it moves through pretty quickly, but it all connects very well. It all blends very well, but not blends to the fact or to the point where you lose where you are, where the songs start, merging together. That does not happen here. Every song has its own distinct feel and sound and vibe. You're not going to it's going to be over and you're going to be like, well, that was that. It just all kind of fused together. No, it flows very nice, but it also, every song, stands out on its own. And so it's just arranged very well like that. Really, what you're going to get here is just some really nice symphonic metal with a little bit of a poppy vibe here and there. It's got some nice pep to it. It's real friendly to the listener here. There's nothing real crazy that's really going to take some deep listening and focus to really get everything out of it that you can. Of course, you can always do that, but it's just a very friendly album. It's very pleasing to the ear, and it's just a nice, well constructed symphonic metal sound that tends to be very positive, tends to have a very upbeat nature to it, which I appreciated very much. There truly is not even a hint of darkness in this album. It's all very, very upbeat, and it sounds nice and inspiring and hopeful. So it's got all of those really nice qualities to it that, again, just makes it very nice, and pleasing to the listener, where it's not going to put you down or, anything like that. It'll give you that motivation, maybe if you're working or, you're driving somewhere or whatnot. It just gives you, puts you in a good mood, and it's just got that energy to it. It's got a very, very catchy energy to it, infectious energy, I guess you could say, that you can't help but just really kind of grab onto and enjoy. So I dig that a lot. All the instrumentation here is excellent. The guitar work is fantastic. There's some great solos, great riffs, things like that. One thing that I thought was really nice too is you can very distinctly hear the bass work on this album. A lot of times the bass kind of falls to the background, but you can hear it quite distinctly here on this album, and it's some great, great work. Really adds that nice element to it. adds a fullness to the sound when it's going in conjunction with the guitar and the drums and whatnot. It really, fills it in. The drum work is great as well. And I really like all of the symphonic elements, with the keyboard work, and you get some beautiful violin sounds. You get some really nice keyboard or piano melodies and whatnot. So you get that, orchestral feel throughout, and you get some really nice choirs going in the background. All of these songs sound very full, very full of life, I guess you could even say. Nothing feels kind of empty or anything, but it's all used in a very nice way, a very complimentary way to the bass, guitar and bass and drum work. The symphonic elements just really, really complement that and just create a fullness. And I wouldn't say like a grand scope. It's not that kind of symphonic metal where it feels like it's this epic, big scale production. No, it's very tight, but very full. And again, it just with that infectious energy, that positive, hopeful feel, it is just really, really nice. The melodies are really great here. Very, very catchy melodies. Even the verses a lot of times have a nice catchy quality to them. But then when you hit the chorus work here is just really great. The vocal melodies are just really fantastic. Almost. I want to even a handful of the songs. I kind of thought of Sonata Arctica because Tony Kakko with Sonata Arctica is known for his melodies and for making the choruses and things like that very melodic and very catchy. That's kind of his thing. And there's a handful of songs on here that it kind of made me think of Sonata Arctica a little bit, just because of the nature of the melody and the choruses and how kind of catchy they are. And a lot of them tend to be somewhat up tempo and a lot of movement, but very catchy and very melodic. So that was really great. And the vocals, I gotta say, the vocals here are really, really kind of stand out. Just excellent range, and she's got this voice where she can kind of do that delicate, kind of soft, kind of falsetto singing for certain parts that kind of be a little that are a little more slowed down, or a little more the music isn't as going as heavy or whatnot, just kind of slowing things down just a little bit. Granted, this album doesn't slow down very much. A lot of this, majority of all of it, really is up tempo and somewhat speedy. There's not really a ballad, per se. You have moments in certain songs that slow down a little bit and have somewhat of a ballad-like quality, but there's no full song here that I would consider to be a ballad. It's all pretty quick moving. But she's got that, and then she's got another. She can bring somewhat kind of like an edge to her voice. It's almost like not really like shout singing per se, but it's got some qualities to almost like it's just got an edge to it, and she uses that quite frequently. And then occasionally she even has this beautiful operatic uh, style vocals that she can do. So her versatility is really impressive, to say the least. And I enjoyed the vocals immensely, and it works very well for the music. She keeps up with the pace of the songs, and all of the movements, throughout, because again, that nothing feels very static here. There's a lot of movements in both the instrumentation and the vocals. So really, really great work there. It starts out track one with this song called The Nothing, and this kind of sets the stage and really hits you with some big choirs and things like that to give you the idea that this is a symphonic metal album, and you're gonna get these symphonic elements, and it's a very catchy chorus, and already you're kind of gonna be hooked because again, it's infectious, and you're gonna want to keep listening to more. Track three is probably one of my two favorite songs on the album. Track three is called Kintsugi, and this song is very, very nice. It's got some beautiful violin and piano work here and some slower moments. And, I feel like this song, more than any other song, fully shows off her vocals. I feel like you get just about like every element of her voice that she has throughout the whole rest of the album. I feel like you get pretty much all of it in this one song, and it's got some beautiful moments, like I said, with some piano and some violin, and she really does some of that operatic style that I was kind of talking about. So really great. This probably is one of my two favorite songs on the album. I like every song, to be honest. There's not one song where it's like, oh, I'm gonna skip this one to get to the next one. No, every song is solid and every song is worth listening to. But of course, you're gonna have your favorites, and I love Kintsugi. The song is amazing. So then you get like track five, The Thief and the Moon. This one's very interesting because this one, how it was mentioned with the album cover, maybe it'll give off a little bit of kind of a folk fantasy, kind of rock sort of vibe. Well, this song, The Thief and the Moon, kind of reminds me of Blackmore's Night a little bit. If you're familiar with that band, they kind of have that fantasy folk uh, rock vibe to it. And this song kind of has that vibe, but if it were to be translated to a symphonic metal style. So really interesting, really cool. I really like that song. And then track six is probably my other of the two favorite songs, Moonlight Haze. Just really, really like this one here. It's got a nice, hard-hitting chorus that you can really, really get into, and again, very melodic, very catchy, and just, what can I say? And then you got, it's funny, track 10, Ritual of Fire. Some people may laugh at me if they listen to this song or they know the song, but it made me think of Dragon Force in a sense. It's not like as crazy as Dragon Force gets and whatnot, but just the sound and the way the chorus is, I feel like the way that the song is kind of constructed and arranged, it has some Dragon Force-like qualities to it. And so that was really interesting and pretty cool because, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you're familiar with Dragon Force, they got a style. And this song reminds me a little bit of that style, like when the chorus hits, it almost has a Dragon Force-like kind of chorus, I don't know why I said choral, chorus, um, uh, Dragon Force-like melody in the chorus, and things like that. It's somewhat of a speedy track. So yeah, I just thought it was an interesting little anecdote of my thoughts on that song, just to pass along to you folks out there. And then track 11, I couldn't help but smile because anyone who, and I had honestly forgotten about it, but then I heard this song and I instantly remembered. But if anyone remembers my annual best of video for the year of 2021, Moonlight Haze, a few members of the band talked about the upcoming album at the time, and they mentioned one story that they were in this house. I think it was for they were doing some recording and whatnot in the house for the album, and there was one night where there was storming and the power went out, and one of the members of the band was like hiding behind doors and stuff and would jump out at everybody and scare the life out of them. And they mentioned how that story, that event, they ended up making it into a song, and telling that story somewhat through, one of the songs coming up on the album, but they couldn't really disclose more. Well, this is that song. It's called Horror and Thunder. And it's really great. It's kind of silly, but it's fun, and they make it work. And it's catchy chorus, and I don't know. It just tickled me listening to it. Because they're telling the story, and then it was the storm, and the hiding behind the doors and the dark, and it's just really great. It's so cool having that backstory to it, and then getting to listen to it. It's just awesome. So anyone who saw that and heard them talk about that backstory behind the song, even if you don't listen to the album, you gotta listen to that song because it's just fun knowing that and listening to it, and it's still a great song. So, yeah, so that's really what I got to say about this album. It is symphonic metal. It's nothing that's going to break the mold or anything like that. It's relatively straightforward, but it does so in a very unique and kind of a signature way, I would say, because they definitely have their own style and personality that they bring to the symphonic metal table, if you will. And everything is very pretty up tempo, upbeat, um, great verses, but incredible chorus melodies that are very catchy. And amazing, amazing vocal work here. The instrumentation is fantastic, and the symphonic elements are all used very, very well to complement everything else. And again, it just has a very infectious quality to it, and it's fun, and and again positive, and it has just a hopeful, uplifting feel to it all the way through. So you just can't help but smile, and you know, that's really what I got to say about it. So if you're a symphonic metal fan, I highly recommend you check out this album. And again, it just is very, very pleasing sound. So that's what I got to say about it. And if I were to pick one song, you know how I do for y'all to listen to, if you're just going to give the album one chance and listen to only one song, personally, I would say go ahead and listen to track 9, which is Will Be Free. I think this encapsulates the feel and the essence of the album in one song, kind of the best. It's very upbeat, very catchy, and melodic chorus, and you get those symphonic elements and some of that choir going. And I think that song really will draw you in and make you want to listen to the whole album, which I highly recommend. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. If you like what you hear, check it out. Check it out. And if you did, let me know what you thought of the album in the comments below, and I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.